Hi everyone, how are you doing today? Right now I'm going to be showing you how to set up my natural light studio for tabletop photography. Just in general, my studio setup for tabletop photography, whether I'm using natural lights or the artificial lighting. Now this setup is really great because not only I can use it in my studio, I'm also able to use it on location, which is really cool because it's easily broken down and set back up in another location, like in a restaurant or a conference room or something like that. So it's a really great setup. It's very easy, very mobile, and it's something that every tabletop photographer needs to have to be able to get the overhead shots that they need in a consistent manner, as well as have enough space or enough room and angles to get some kind of 45-degree shot or in front of the product as well, without having a lot of bars in your way and stuff. So we're going to need a few pieces of equipment today. It's all kind of stuff that you generally should have if you're taking tabletop photography seriously. It's not too expensive. All these little pieces of equipment are not too expensive, but it's some stuff that you might want to consider investing in. So the first thing is a clamp like this. It's an Avenger Manfrotto clamp. I call them a knuckle. They're great because you can place bars in the ring here, tighten it down. They'll hold extension tubes. They'll hold spigots or stems, which are also another great item to have. This is a 3/8 stem. It can attach to the bottom of your camera or your tripod base plate, or your tripod head itself, which is what we're going to be using it for today. You can stick these right in the knuckles, screw them down, and everything's nice and tight and secure. So those two things are very important. Next thing is an extension arm. This is also an Avenger Manfrotto extension arm. You can attach this to a stand, and you can clamp down a diffuser, a background, or whatever have you want to clamp down and extend it over a stand. Speaking about stands, we're going to be using, for this setup, we're going to be using these heavy-duty C-stands, which are great, but they're a little bit too heavy to take on location. So when I go on location, I replace this part with a lighter weight stand, which is just your typical average light stand that you get with a light kit, or you can buy them separately. They're really cheap, less than $100, and they come in various brands. So this one is a Bowens that I have in my Bowens light kits. Very lightweight, movable. Take them on location with you. For that light stand, we're going to be attaching this diffuser, which comes out of a 5-in-1 diffuser reflector kit. This is just the diffuser part. The reflector is gold and silver and black and white. This is an essential piece of equipment for any photographer, really. Not just a tabletop photographer, but a portrait photographer, food photographer. Anybody that needs to block the direct sunlight and get some nice, even diffused light onto your subject, this is the thing to have. It's very cheap, and if you even want to go cheaper, you can invest in some really thin, crappy bed sheets that you buy from the store, and you can hang them. It serves the same purpose, but this one is really good because it folds up, very compact, collapsible, fits on the end of your camera bag or what have you. We're going to be using, to hold that to the extension tube, we're going to be using these basic A-clamps. Buy them from any hardware store. And to hang our camera, we got ourselves a regular tripod head from our Manfrotto tripod. I'll be attaching it to the stem and then attaching it to the extension arm to hang over our table. This is good to have. Sometimes I use a clamp or various other things to attach my camera, but I like the tripod head because I can move the camera left to right or in its vertical and horizontal positions when it's up there. And last but not least is a good old-fashioned level. Buy them from any hardware store. You need one of these to make sure everything is perfectly level when your camera is above the table. If you don't have one of these, borrow one from a friend or get one from your father or somebody's garage, because really if your camera is not level over the table, it'll make your product or whatever you're placing, your subject, look like it's falling off, and we don't want that. So that's it for the equipment that we're going to be using today. Now I'm going to demonstrate how to set it all up. It's really rather simple, not too complicated. I might speed this demonstration up a little bit just so I don't bore you to death. But I'm going to start off with the stand. and I'm going to start attaching my diffusement and hanging it in front of my window here. And I'm going to do that before I set anything else up, so I'm kind of going to start at the window and build outwards. Now it's important to have a good window. This one is a rather large window, and it gives me about 5 hours a day of direct sunlight shining through the window. So it's really important to have a nice window in your studio that allows for direct sunlight to come shining through. Because this is a natural light setup, and so we're going to be using the natural light coming through the window. So I got my stand, and I'm going to attach my extension arm to it, like so. And then I can raise that up. And then I can unfold my diffusement and attach the diffusement with the A-clamps. And there we go, we got a nice diffused window light coming through now. Raise it a little bit higher so it blocks the entire window, and make sure it lies flat against the window. And then I'm going to grab my C-stand, that'll be next. I'll place it again directly against the window here, so I can get my table, which I'll slide over here, as close to the wall as possible. Okay, now I basically have it set up, so now I can attach my camera to the tripod head here, and then I can raise or lower it depending on my lens choice or how tall my subject is. I'm just going to sling the camera strap and get it out of the way, and also add some extra protection in case some catastrophic event happened and it fell down. At least the camera would be hanging from the knuckle. Here I can use my level to make sure my camera is level. I also going to make sure the bar is level. It is. Good to go. And every time I raise or lower it, I'm going to grab that level and make sure that it's perfect. You know, every time I raise and lower it. So I'm going to start with the top and raise up from there. Like so. Just kind of hold it in the middle and tighten it on either side. It's always good to have an assistant to work with you, so you don't have to do this balancing act, but it's really not that difficult. It's kind of a one-man job. Yep, looks good. Good to go. Yep. All right, so that's pretty much it. That is pretty much the camera setup. We have our nice little above the table shot going on here. We also can place a camera in front of the table or place a camera behind the table to shoot our in front of the food or 45-degree angle shot of the food, and then we can switch and quickly take a 90-degree shot, recompose, take a 90-degree shot for the food as well. Like I said, this is a great setup because it's highly movable. You can take it down, move it to a restaurant and set it up. Not a lot of space required. You don't have to use the heavy C-stands. I like them because they add a bit of stability because they are so heavy to the camera shots when I use slow shutter speeds. But you can also use the lightweight black stands that come with any light kit if you'd like to as well. All in all, this is my favorite setup and I use it every time I use the studio, and I would like to see if you used it too. Give me your comments or feedback. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me or post in the forum.